Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Abena Addo, and if this is your first time here, welcome. On my channel I talk about my experiences living in Ghana as well as traveling the beautiful continent of Africa. So please like and subscribe and hit those bell notifications so you'll be the first to see when I post a new video. I post every single Sunday, so that means there's a lot of content coming your way. On today's video, we are going to be talking about the Ghana card. So the Ghana card is a national identification card. For the last few months, it's been like on the radio. Every time you make a phone call, it's like register your Ghana card, get your Ghana card, Ghana card, Ghana card, Ghana card. So I thought it'd be interesting to let you guys know exactly what this is, why it's important, and kind of my thoughts on how this is a great step forward for Ghana. So anyway, the Ghana card is a national identification card that's used to identify citizens and residents. And so this card is equivalent to, I would say, like a social identification number in Canada, so like a SIN card. So essentially the government's able to know where people are and where they live. And then I guess eventually it's also linked to like your taxes and stuff like that. So it's a really great step forward. Obviously it's important in general for a country to understand where everyone is, where they live, etc. So it's a really great step forward. Something that I found interesting is actually that in addition to just having the card, they've also partnered with mobile places, so like Vodafone, MTN, Airtego, etc. to get biometrics. So basically now, not only is it just a national identification card, but you also have fingerprints to go along with that. So I think that's interesting. I do not believe we do that in Canada. So it's another level up of security. So on today's video, I'm gonna take you guys with me along to get my Ghana card. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already, please subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. I'm really trying with this thing. Anyway.
That's true.
We're back again with my dad.
Hello.
So today we are going to get our Ghana card. So this is probably what attempt at our Ghana card is this? Our third attempt. We found this place that's supposedly a quick way to get your Ghana card. So that brings me to an important topic. I would say processes in Ghana. They are not easy. Not easy. So it seems as though you can take your entire day going to, get your driver's license, get your passport, get your Ghana card if you don't know somebody. And like for me personally, it's like, your time is important. So it's like, I can't come and, queue up at 5 a.m. and then spend my entire day waiting in line. And unfortunately that's what people have to do here, which is absolutely ridiculous. And so that's something to keep in mind. Like anytime there's something wrong with your phone, the queue is ridiculous. The banks, like if you don't have private banking, the queues are ridiculous. It's a challenge. So that's something I would say that is not, I don't want to glorify that processes and everything here is reasonable, because it isn't. So my dad went in to go talk and see if he can speak to someone. He's coming back now, so let's see what happened. So what happened?
Premium service, $250 each. They did right now. Let's go.
What was that, Dad?
Yeah, premium services, 250 Ghana cedi. That's express.
Express. So we're gonna go do that now. Okay, we'll keep you guys posted. It's raining, so we got to take cover, and now we're inside. I'll show you guys what it looks like. And there's a bajillion people, obviously. But anyway, we'll see how this goes. We're still here. Okay, so it's raining. These are the tents where we go to after we processed everything, took the picture, and now we're waiting to get the actual card. So this is the National Identification Authority, and these are where everyone's waiting because it's raining like crazy. Okay guys, so we got caught in the rain. I got my card. So I'm happy about that. I got my card.
And I didn't get mine.
Now, the reason he didn't get his was because he didn't bring his proper identification. Yeah, I mean, so the 250 express fee is what we paid to get the card today. So I went in, let's say we got there, the whole process probably took like an hour and a half. But, the lines were still long, but we were able to get it done. it's just a long process here. It's just everything kind of takes long. Right, Dad?
Yeah, I know. Well, this is... Things is not as fast as, like you get it there, but, it's still...
So we're going to go, he's going to go back on Monday. We'll see how long his experience is. And
I'm sure you're not going to come with me, right?
No, definitely not. I got caught in the rain, like all my hair is wet. And so this card is equivalent to, I would say, like a social identification number in Canada, so like a SIN card. The SIN card is, in Canada, is used for you to work and access the government benefits. So if something happened and you lost your job, you are able to get government assistance, and so you need to have your social identification number. And any business that you have is linked to your social identification number, so you pay taxes through that. And then you get your pension, right? So we have the Canadian pension plan, something that you pay throughout your paycheck every time you get paid. And now when you turn 65, you get access to that. But if you didn't have identification, they wouldn't be able to track that. You wouldn't be able to see how much you've paid, etc. So it's a good system. I think it's going to support, it'll help take Ghana to the next level. So something I found interesting is that there is actually this digital address thing in Ghana where everyone has a digital address, which is great. It's pretty simple in practice because you just have like GPS, satellites, and then you have, it basically looks like GIS, basically like an aerial view of all the places. Then you find your exact house and then you have a digital address. Now this is important because, a lot of places in Ghana don't have streets. So for example, I live in a place where I actually don't have a street name. And so you can't really direct someone to your house if you don't have a street name and then you don't have a subsequent number address. But what everyone has is these digital addresses. And so this is an important component when you're on your way to get your Ghana card. Part of the paperwork is you have to show your digital address and where you live, because that is linked to your Ghana card. It's quite interesting that, people don't have street names, because it's not like I live in like a very rural area. Like I live in the main city in a, very known suburb, but for some reason there is no street name. And it's not like I live also in like a random place. Like I have neighbors in front of me, beside me, etc. So anyway, it is what it is. But at least there's a digital address. So something that I think number 2 would be property taxes. So this is maybe be controversial. I don't think anyone would be happy to hear about more tax in Ghana because there's a lot of taxes here already. But I actually think this digital address is an opportunity for the government to actually implement something to have a better view on property tax. Like there's an opportunity to generate revenue from property tax from people who own homes in the country, because now you have a Ghana card, so you know who it is and then you know where they live. So the next step would be to, figure out the value of their house and then figure out a system to collect tax from them for their property. And, the concept of property tax, I mean, while it may not be attractive, like in every other place, it's something that people have to pay. It's part of home ownership, and as a result, that money goes to the local authorities or goes to the local governments to support schools, police, infrastructure, roads, sewers, stuff like that. So it's a pretty good concept to ensure that the local, the area where you live has the necessities that you need. And as I go around Ghana, I notice that, there's a lot of stuff that is lacking within a community. And I want to make sure that I'm saying that I do not think that Ghana should be adopting everything that they do in the West. But what I do think is that Ghana should be looking at ways to generate revenue to support the community. Schools, a lot of schools are lacking basic needs. The police are underpaid. There's sewage challenges in every community. There's a lot of flooding going on. And so property tax is a simple solution that would help to alleviate these challenges and kind of improve the quality of life for the people in Ghana. Also, I will say that it's not foolproof. It's not like property tax is a solution to everything. Like, don't get me wrong, the US and Canada has some terrible challenges with property tax and, inequalities with different neighborhoods. And in the US, I think it's a little bit different than Canada, but I know in Canada, I mean, it should be, property tax should be equal for everyone, but obviously in practice that doesn't always happen. So I'm not saying that, you know, property tax is a solution to everything, but what I'm saying is it's an opportunity for Ghana to support local governments in providing basic needs for the community. So as I mentioned earlier, the challenges that Ghana faces with actually getting property tax rolling is mostly, so the first problem was identification of people, where they live, and how much their house is worth. So obviously those three things are challenging, because you might have people who don't live here and they built a house, or you might have people who do live here and don't have a Ghana card, or there might be people changing the values of their houses, or you might not, maybe no one just got an evaluation of their house, so you actually don't know how much their house is worth, so how do you charge tax? And then there's also a lot of settlers who live in places that are not their homes, and so what do you do with those people? So there are challenges. So there's actually a really good article that I read about a program that was launched in 2018 between the Dutch Embassy, Ministry of Ghana, and local governments to actually start this process. And it started in the Western region, the Central region, and Ashanti region. I'm gonna link the article in the description in case you're interested. It's a short read, it's about, you know, a few pages, but it gives an overview of kind of the challenges that this program has had with implementation. One of the big things that stuck out to me in that article was enforcement, right? So you can have a great plan, you can have, you know, you could have thought of everything, but then in practice, if it's not getting enforced, like what is the consequence of someone not paying? So if you go to someone's house and you say, hi, like, we know you live here, you have your Ghana card, you own this house, it's worth 100,000 cedis, I need you to pay 4% every year. What if someone says no? So those are the challenges that the program has. And again, I'll link in the description the article so you can read more about it. The third thing I want to talk about is the ECOWAS card versus the Ghana card. So ECOWAS stands for Economic Communities of West African States. So it's basically all of West Africa. And so it was a bit confusing because sometimes I'd hear on the radio, you need to get your ECOWAS card. And then sometimes I'd hear you need to get your Ghana card. And so I was wondering, are they the same thing? And I did some research and they are the same thing. So they're the same. People don't need to worry. I got my ECOWAS card, but I'm all good. So what I had to do was take that card and register it with my phone, my mobile money, my bank, all that good stuff. Yeah, so if you're wondering if they're different, they are not. So I will leave this video with 3 interesting facts about the Ghana card. So the Ghana card is actually allows you to travel within ECOWAS countries. So within West Africa, this card will allow you to board a plane and travel within West Africa. The second interesting fact is that if you did get the old Ghana card between 2018 and 2013, it's actually not the same, so you have to get a new one, which I think might be interesting for anyone who maybe got this card a few years ago and hasn't lived in Ghana. But I thought that was interesting because it's like, obviously there's a better system that was implemented, but if it started at that time, it would be a lot easier to get everyone on board, but that's just how things go sometimes. And the third interesting fact about the Ghana card is that it is free for all Ghanaians. And yeah, if you haven't got one yet, you should go get one. Anyway, those are my thoughts about the Ghana card and kind of ways that I think it could be used to benefit the country. If you haven't already, please go get your Ghana card. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. And if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. Turn on your bell notifications so you're the first to hear from me when I post a new video. Thanks again for all your support. Mwah.